Hey guys, Michael here, founder and CEO of Gorelo. Just going to take you through a quick look at the billing component. So what you're looking at here is the actual invoice list. We've got a few different views here. You can create your own, and it's just showing the invoices over on the right-hand side. So if we blow out the extra menu here, you can see the billing component is made up of invoices, products, bundles, contracts, and the ability to approve an invoice. So let's have a quick look at products. So products, pretty basic. You'd expect to see this in nearly every platform. If we scroll down, we do have a timeline on our product, so you can see who changed what, if there are any updates, things like that. You can see what bundles this product is part of and whether it's in sync in terms of the price and a few other things. You can also see what contracts this product is on and whether it's in sync when it comes to the price as well. So let's jump across to bundles. Bundles are essentially just a bundle of products. Everything at the top is exactly the same. We do integrate with Xero and QuickBooks Online. So once you've integrated there, we'll pull in the chart of accounts codes and all the tax rates and things like that. Down here, these are the products that make up this particular bundle. There's a heap of them here. We've got the cost and price columns. We calculate the overall cost based on everything here, and then you can set a distinct price here. Scrolling down further, we have a timeline, and we do have the ability to see what contracts this bundle is on. So when it comes to a bundle, you can choose to show just the bundle name on the invoice as one line item, or you can even show the products and their descriptions on the invoice for extra transparency. It will all be bundled up under one line item, but you can show these individually under that one line item so your end users or your clients know exactly what they're getting billed for. So back out to the menu here, and let's jump into contracts. So we'll create a new contract from scratch here. We'll add a client, Ashvane Trading Company, and a location, all locations. We have three sections here: invoicing, labor, and products. Invoicing governs everything about the invoice, what it looks like, when it starts, who it's sent to, what period it covers, things like that. So we're going to set this to start on the 1st of August. It's going to repeat monthly. There's no end date. Invoice will be created 0 days before the start date. So essentially on the start date, the 1st of every month, we create the invoice. It's due 30 days later. We're going to use the standard invoice template. This is what the PDF looks like. We'll use the standard email template. This is fully customizable, full HTML. And then we have a references field. This is actually where you can type in anything you want, and this is the name of the invoice that shows up. You can use variables to automatically fill that title as well. This would generate a draft invoice. If you're looking to automate it, you would toggle on auto approve and send, and you'd set a contact. This would then automatically approve it on the 1st of every month, sync it across to QuickBooks or Xero. Any payments that come through will get synced back, and it'll also send it to your client as well. Down here is the labor component. So a few different options: unlimited hours, limited hours per hour, block hours, or just no labor. So a lot of MSPs use unlimited hours. You can automatically approve this time to make your life a little bit easier. And if that is chosen, then I would recommend using our contract profitability report to truly understand how profitable those contracts are. We pull in the revenue, the hours spent, the cost of that time on a per user basis that you can set in the back end, the overall product cost, and then we spit out the profit margin and effective hourly rate to give you a good indicator of where things are at and what needs to be looked at. Back here, we can then determine which of these combinations of billing roles and work types will automatically be covered by your unlimited hours contract. So billing roles and work types is something you configure in the back end, and then you're selecting here that a technician doing remote support will go against the unlimited hours contract. A technician doing on-site support, remote after hours, or on-site after hours, let's deselect all these. Well, a technician doing any of these won't actually go against this unlimited hours contract. And instead, it'll either go to another contract that has these selected, or it'll just use your default labor rates and you'll be billing out of scope time and maintenance essentially. So down here in the product section, this is where you would add different things. Like maybe you have a managed location bundle. Maybe it includes all of your networking hardware, VCIO services, internet, things like that. And then let's say we want to actually put in a managed server. We're monitoring or managing their server VMs. This is another bundle with AV, cloud backups, things along those lines. For this one, the quantity, this is something you might have to jump in and change quite often. If it's a workstation, you definitely would, server, maybe not. In this case, we can actually use the concept of dynamic quantities, and we can tie that to our asset tags. So asset tags are built in by default, and you can create your own custom ones. And in this case, we're going to just use the Windows Workstation asset tag because we have a few in here already. These are the 3 Windows workstations for this client. I can exclude them, certain ones if I need, and then I'm going to apply that here to this line item. So if I install a new agent and it's detected as a Windows workstation, this quantity goes up. If I remove it, it'll go down. You can also list the name or the host names of these assets directly on the invoice, so your client knows exactly what they're getting billed for. Let's add another product here. Let's do a managed user Microsoft Premium bundle. So this is what we looked at a little bit earlier, and this is everything that's bundled in for a managed user. In this case, it is not asset-based. This is user-based billing. So we have 2 options, and both of these are powered by our integrations. The first option is Pax8. So if that's your distributor of choice for Microsoft 365 licensing, you can tie that quantity to the number of licenses in Pax8 and have that automatically increase and decrease. Or you can actually use our integration with SIP, CyberDrain Improved Partner Portal. You would set up their API, put their details in, and we'll actually sync every licensed user across all of your clients into Gorelo as a contact and keep that information up to date. We'll then let you dynamically tie a user-based billing product like this to any of the licenses in that tenant. It doesn't matter what distributor they're coming from, as long as they're in the tenant, and even to security groups in Microsoft 365. So imagine this now says Microsoft 365 Business Premium. I could tie it dynamically to that. This would list the full display names of the users and the email address. And once again, I can choose to show that on the invoice. So when I send this invoice to the customer or to the client, they will actually see the full names of everyone that's getting billed here. I'll create that. These 2 items here that you can see, this is our dynamic quantities feature as well, but it's working in reverse. So when you tie it dynamically here, that's something that you knew you have to bill for. You've tied it dynamically in advance, and from that point on, we'll automate the billing. But there's circumstances where you didn't realize you needed to bill for something. Maybe another technician provisioned a license, or maybe you did and you forgot about it. So this part of the feature, if I go to the contracts view here and dynamic quantities, this part of the feature is to help capture that potential missed billing, things that might fall through the gaps. So this screen here is essentially pending products and bundles and things like that that you should be billing for, but you haven't tied to a contract. So either you need to tie to a contract or you need to ignore it because you're not going to bill for it. The way this works is from the rules section. There's a few different sources right now. There's asset tags, which you can see here. There's SIP, there's Pax8, and then there's dynamic elements for each of those. So different types of licenses, different types of asset tags, and then you configure an automatic action. So in this case, if we detect the all tag for any of these assets, just ignore it. I'm never going to bill for that. But here, if I detect the Windows Workstation tag, I want it to suggest that it automatically bills for monitoring and management agent. You do something very similar for all your Microsoft licensing and things like that. If you detect Microsoft 365 Business Premium, then suggest the managed user bundle. If you detect Exchange Online P2, then suggest Exchange Online P2 license, a standalone one. So this area here is somewhere you would come towards the end of each billing period, and you would just make sure this is empty. Either you add them to contracts and they disappear from here, or you click ignore because you don't plan to bill for them, and then they will disappear from here. The last part of that is the approve an invoice. So this is for ad hoc style billing. So what I showed you earlier would be something that's recurring. It's happening automatically every month. But then you might have out of scope labor, after hours work. You might have certain products like one-off things like a Home to Pro upgrade, a sticker RAM. things that should be billed outside of your contracts. In that case, they will show up here in the approve and invoice section. If I just unapprove a few of these, just to show you an example, when you close out a ticket, it may show up here. In that case, as a manager, you have a quick scan through here, and then you can approve it saying, yeah, that looks good. I'm going to bill for that. Same again, and approve this. At whatever cadence you prefer, you can then invoice for these things. So these are 2 different tickets across 2 different clients, but just imagine there's 100 tickets and 20 different clients. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is multi-select them all, click generate invoice, and then in mass, you can give it a reference field, an invoice due date, template, approve and send. All from here, I can automate my billing journey all in 4 or 5 different clicks. Doesn't matter if I have 2 tickets or 500 tickets, it's the exact same amount of work. Very, very easy. So that's a run through of the billing section. It does tie into a lot of other areas like ticketing in a previous video with time entries and things like that, or into asset tags from the RMM video. Awesome. Thank you.